A few more series just like this one would feel really, really good. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners defeat the White Sox today 6-3. They finish off a 3-game sweep of the White Sox. They improve to 56-51 on the season. Thanks to the Dodgers beating the Astros, the Mariners are now tied atop the AL West. Technically, percentage points wise, Houston does have the lead, so the Mariners are in second place, but essentially back even with Houston. And I believe they are now a game and a half back in the wild card as Kansas City loses as well, and Boston is losing. They're also right in front of you in the wild card race. So a Boston loss would bring them even with the Mariners. So a very, very productive day for the Mariners. Maybe we can petition MLB to get maybe like 5 or 6 more games against the White Sox this year. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to it. But no, honestly, a really nice series sweep for the Mariners. One, they just needed it, right? The vibes were pretty rough after that Angels series. I think that was probably the lowest I've been on the team this season. And then it kind of turns around. They go acquire Randy Rosarina. They go get Jimmy Garcia. They win the first game with 10 runs, just, with those two not even being in the clubhouse yet. They get it done yesterday and they get it done today. And they get a little winning streak going, get a little momentum. And I think even, like I said, for me as a fan, I'm sure most of you, this is as good as we felt about this team in a little bit. And I'm sure for the players as well, seeing them go for it, buying and then getting that series sweep probably feels pretty good. And certainly, again, I will reiterate, it's the White Sox. They're not good by any means. This certainly doesn't erase all the problems that the team has had, but it's just nice to get back in the W column a little bit, get some wins, get a little momentum going, seeing this team gain some ground. And you know what? You got to play who's on your schedule. You get teams like this 6 times a year, right? You got to take advantage of it. And I think there was a big difference in this series versus the last time they played the White Sox. When they played them earlier in the year in Seattle, they won 3 out of 4, but they needed comebacks, they needed late wins. It felt like a series where Chicago played them pretty evenly for 4 games, and the Mariners just found a way to get 3 of them. This series felt like you were truly watching a much better baseball team. You saw a team that was better come in there and take care of business. They win the first game by 10 runs. They win the next 2, each by 3. 3 is not a blowout necessarily, but I don't know. At any point during the last 2 nights, did you guys feel like the Mariners were going to lose that game? Maybe a little last night when Robert was up with the bases loaded in the 8th. It got a little dicey. I think for the most part, it felt pretty comfortable these last 2 games. And the Mariners faced good starting pitching. The White Sox are bad, but they're a little bit better when Drew Thorpe, Garrett Crochet, and Eric Fetty are on the mound for them. And the Mariners did a good job against all 3. And it wasn't like they just got them out after 5-6 innings, or the White Sox took them out with shutouts and the Mariners got to the White Sox bullpen. They actually chased all 3. They destroyed Drew Thorpe. They did pretty well against Fetty, 3 earned runs in 4 innings. And Crochet, even though there was some faulty defense behind him, he only goes 3 innings, gives up 3 earned runs and 5 total runs. So Mariners did a pretty good job on the starting pitch. And that's been a problem we've talked about, right? Is just starters just have been dialed in against this ball club. And then maybe they've scrapped out some runs against the bullpen and they found a way to get some wins. Now, listen, I don't really care how the wins look right now. You just got to get them. But good to see them getting to some starting pitching. And starting pitching that, again, those are 3 pretty good arms. That's not a bad trio of starting pitching that you faced. Of course, the White Sox have problems. Their offense is abysmal. Their bullpen is bad. Their defense didn't look very sharp this series. And, outside of those 3, the other starters are not great either. So they're 28-81 or whatever it is for a reason. But I was impressed. I thought this was a good series for the Mariners. Will it hold up? I don't know. You're going to be facing much better baseball teams here this week with Boston and then the Eagle. Man, a Dismal and the Eagles. I'm using 2 weird words. Say the Phillies coming up this week. So certainly a much bigger challenge coming up for the Seattle Mariners. But for the meantime, good to see. Good to see them get some momentum going, few wins, and hopefully, regardless of who it's against, that momentum can carry over. And I will continue to say, you look at the lineup today, and it's amazing how much one guy can change it. With Randy Rosarina in there, again, it's a lineup that's flaws. I'm not claiming, oh yeah, there's a top 5 lineup for you. But it's amazing how much deeper the lineup looks just from one name getting in there. It's amazing how much better the back end of the bullpen feels with Jimmy Garcia back there now. So it just goes to show that it sometimes doesn't take a lot, right? You don't have to go out and get Robert, Vlad Jr., Jazz, Anna Rosarina, all the guys. Maybe it's Rosarina. Maybe there's one more. Maybe it's Nico Horner, someone like that you can put at shortstop and you feel pretty good about. Jorge Polanco's heating up. That makes the lineup feel a lot better. Cal Raleigh's on fire. That makes the lineup feel a lot better. And you've got Julio coming back here hopefully soon, who was swinging the bat well before going on the IL. Like I said, this doesn't solve all the offensive problems. We may look back and go, yeah, the White Sox are just terrible, and the Mariners, even with their some of the good stars they throw, they're just not good, and the Mariners fade right away again. I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to put my eggs in one basket one way or the other. I'm not saying the series should mean nothing. It should. It's a really nice sweep, and you needed it. And we've seen this team lose to bad teams. I said it yesterday. They lost 6 out of 7 to the Angels, 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. Again, those teams are better than the White Sox, but you can only play those on your schedule. And one of the things that a lot of us thought going into the second half is the Mariners' schedule, early on was brutal. And with it easing up, it may give them a chance to get some wins. And they haven't really taken advantage of that really until this weekend. So you can't really complain about who's on your schedule. It is what it is. The Astros, I think, get the White Sox again at some point, I think, in Houston. Can't complain about it. That's the schedule. Everybody gets them that's not in the Central is going to play them 6 times. You hope maybe they find luck and get one of them and go from there. And the Mariners were able to sweep that team. So you did what you had to do against bad teams. I will complain when you lose to bad teams. I will complain if it's an unimpressive win. But if you're kind of taking care of business, doing what you need to do. And that's what the Seattle Mariners did this weekend. So good to see. And listen, regardless of anything else, it's just nice to watch this team win some ball games. It's been a tough month. And then we got the trade deadline coming up in a couple days. So we'll see. They've talked about maybe one more outfield bat, maybe an infielder and another reliever. The reliever market's been pretty crazy. Who was it? Todd that the Padres traded for. They gave from the Rays. They gave up a haul to get him. So I don't know if the market's going to be there for reliever unless it's a throw-in. Maybe you can get Paul DeYoung from the White Sox and they throw in Kopech or something like that. I don't know. So I wouldn't be shocked if they don't end up with another reliever. I definitely think there'll be one more bat. Now, how impactful of a bat will it be? I think it's going to be more mid-tier, just to be perfectly honest. I just don't see Vlad Jr. happening. I love to eat my words on that. I don't see Luis Robert happening. I see something more, someone to maybe that can kind of play all over the infield a little bit. Like I said, I think Nico Horner would make a lot of sense. A first baseman, I think, would make some sense. I like Tyler Locklear, and we're dealing with a very small sample since he's come back up, but he's got a negative 27 WRC plus since returning to lineup, which that's not to me an indictment on Locklear. I think he's going to be a fine player, but you're in the middle of a pennant race right now. You can't roll that out there, I think, every day. Vossler, I think you can give him a shot. But we'll see. Maybe, there's been some rumors that Ryan Mountcastle might be available. That would be really cool. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But that would be my guess. I think one more kind of mid-tier bat. I think they'd like another reliever, but I just think with what the market is demanding for that's going to be tough. So that would be my prediction. Will it be enough? I don't know. If you can get this kind of offensive production, you can get Julio back and swinging like he did before he went on the injured list, right before, then yeah, I think you can make it work. I think if some of these guys play the back of their baseball cards, Polanco's starting to, Cal's doing it, a Rosarina provides a nice spark. You're getting that sort of overperformance that I've talked about from Victor Robles. It could be. So we'll see what they end up doing. Let's look at this game today. A nice win for the Mariners. Let's start with the pitching. Bryce Miller, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Was really cruising until that 7th inning. Had to use the bullpen a lot yesterday with Brian Wu only going 4 innings. So in a 6-1 game, I understand trying to get 7 out of Bryce Miller there. He's only at 77 pitches to begin the 7th inning. But it was a bit of a rough inning for him. Who was it that flew out to start the inning? I think it might have been Jimenez flew out to start the inning. Then Benintendi doubled and DeYoung homered. And even Jimenez's fly out was hit pretty well. So Miller clearly was out of gas or just didn't have it in the 7th inning. But I have no problem trying to get that extra inning out of him. Now, the one thing that stings a little bit is you had to use some higher leverage arms. Austin Voth, that's fine. He might have had to pitch anyways, even in a 6-1 game. But you had to use Jimmy Garcia, and then you had to go to Munoz in the 9th. I did talk on Twitter that maybe that was a game where you don't go to Munoz. You try to have Thornton get the save or Sauce get the save there, save Munoz for Boston. But on the flip side, you got to get the wins, right? I mean, imagine if you don't go to Munoz, you blow it. There's no guarantee you're even going to be in a save situation tomorrow. So you got to get the wins that are there in front of you. That is the one downside with Miller going out there for the seventh. He's at 77 pitches. Here's the thing. We've all gotten mad at Scott for taking pitchers out too early, going, oh, they need to leave him in there. I have too, so I'm not criticizing anybody for that. Well, he did it, and Miller kind of struggled there, so I can't really be mad at that when I've said you've got to leave guys in a little bit longer. Then when he does, it happens. It's just unfortunate being the 2-run home run there. But other than that, I thought Bryce Miller threw the ball really well, took that comebacker off his ankle, stayed in, was pretty dialed in against a struggling lineup, but in a hitter's park where the ball can fly a little bit. And that's, I think, Miller's second straight really impressive road start. Had a good one in San Diego, good one in Chicago here. So good to see. Nice outing for Bryce Miller, and he gets the win as well. Voth was solid, came into that seventh inning, got out of the fire a little bit. There was nobody on base, but just didn't allow the Sox to continue any more momentum. Good work by Voth. Jimmy Garcia, an easy eighth inning. The good news is Garcia only threw, how many pitches did he throw? 7 pitches. So I think there's a good chance Garcia, even though it'd be back-to-back-to-back days, probably good to go for tomorrow, I would think. Being able to have a quick inning. He actually had a pretty quick inning yesterday, so not a lot of wear and tear on the arm there. So I'd expect Garcia to be available. Munoz gets the job done. The ninth does walk about it. Other than that, easy peasy. 20 pitches, 11 strikes. Maybe not the sharpest we've seen Munoz. Almost 100% positive he'll be down for tomorrow. So you'll need Santos to hopefully be able to bounce back and pitch. Garcia, Voth, Colin Snyder, Sauce, Spire, the lefties. Going to need those guys tomorrow because you likely will not have Munoz. But you got to get the wins. Got to get the wins that are in front of you. You can't play for games that haven't happened yet, especially with relief pitchers, because you don't even know. It's not like if you save Munoz today, he's guaranteed to pitch tomorrow no matter what. You could get blown out tomorrow, and it doesn't matter. So you got to get the wins that are in front of you. So nice job by the bullpen to lock it down, and a good start by Bryce Miller getting into the seventh inning. Offense again, 8 hits, 4 walks, did strike out 9 times. Garrett Crochet is going to do that. Actually, Crochet only had 3 strikeouts. Cool, the reliever, 4 strikeouts in 5 innings. And then Brebbia had a couple strikeouts. So nothing too crazy there. And there was even a couple spots with Crochet where I thought, boy, here we go. In the second inning, they had first and third, nobody out. I think Locklear popped up and Leo Rivas, I'm thinking he's going to strike out. Did a nice job, put the ball in play. Again, where putting the ball in play can matter, right? Rivas puts it in play. They get a run home and get that third run. Cal gets him for the home run in the first inning. And like I said, DeYoung and some of the defenders let Crochet down a little bit, but certainly not as sharp as we saw him up in Seattle. And the offense made some adjustments and did a good job against him. It was good to see for sure. And guys, Crochet is legit. Eric Fetty's good. Drew Thorpe, I think, is probably the lesser of the 3, but is still a solid major league quality starting pitcher. So real nice series. Real nice series for the offense. Me and Mariner Sir talked about it, that sometimes after, what the Mariners went through against Houston in that series and then the Angels, sometimes going on the road helps. You just get a little away from the home crowd. Not that the home crowd did anything wrong. Like I said, they had every right to bring out the Boo Birds after that Angels series. I would have been right there with y'all. But just for the team, I think getting on the road can help those things sometimes and make you play a little looser. You're not there to put on a show for the crowd. So hopefully they can go into Boston. It'd be great if they could take 2 out of 3 and then come home and get the fan base kind of back into this a little bit. It would feel good. Let's look at the box score. Victor Robles, again, 2 for 5, ring and double and a bunt single. Same things as yesterday. Ditto for everything I've said about Victor Robles. Just what a great acquisition he's been. Randy Arozarena, 2 for 4, just missed a home run on a foul ball and a walk. Again, Arozarena just quietly kind of on base 5 times in his first 2 Mariners games. Hasn't had that big impact hit yet, but has been great. And you can see why he's a nice addition here. Perfect in that 2-0. Love Robles and Arozarena at the top. They've really been spark plugs for this team. Cal Raleigh, 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs, had the RBI single and the 2-run home run. Cal's got that OPS up to 736. He is dialed in. Fenway Park should be a good park for him to hit in. That was one of the spots last year where he hit the home runs from both sides of the plate. So hopefully tomorrow we can see that again from the big dumper. Jorge Polanco just 1 for 4, but Polanco's still swinging the bat really well on this series. 3 home runs in the series. Some other hits as well. They took him out. I guess Scott said he's been having a little bit of knee issue. Makes sense. It feels like Polanco's been kind of limping around a little bit at times. Maybe that's why some of the defense hasn't been as great. Not saying I think Polanco's a great defender, but it's looked like really bad of late. So good to get him a few innings off. Hopefully he's good to go tomorrow. And like I said, the boost or the improvement of Jorge Polanco is been so huge for this ball club. You want to talk about one of the reasons the offenses look better. I mean, Victor Robles for sure. Cal's gotten hot, but Jorge Polanco would definitely be the other reason why. Rojas came in, pinched or for defensive purposes, walked. Garver was 0 for 5. Tough day for Garver. I thought he got punched out in a couple borderline calls. I know Garver reached base 5 times on Friday. Everyone was a little surprised he wasn't in there yesterday after that. I do wonder if maybe because he caught Friday, that's why they gave him Saturday off. It ends up not really mattering because they get the win. Was a little shocked, though, with reaching base 5 times that he wasn't in there as the DH yesterday, but I'm thinking maybe it was because he caught on Friday that they gave him Saturday off to kind of recuperate a little bit there. DH would be another spot where the Mariners could look. The Marlins just waived Josh Bell. Not that Josh Bell's been great, but, it's just someone you can get in here. Listen, I thought Victor Robles would be kind of a nothing signing, like nice little 4th, 5th outfielder. He's been a spark plug. Maybe Josh Bell comes in here, like me and Mariner Sir said, he's sitting there going, hey, I've been in Miami all year. This is nice to be in a playoff race, and just gives you a little 55-game spark. That might be a move they could make as well. I'm not going to slam the table for Josh Bell. He truthfully has not been very good, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Dylan Moore was 1 for 4, scored a couple runs. Mitch Haniger 0 for 3 with a walk. Locklear's been struggling. I talked about 0 for 2. Did work a walk. Good to see. Vossler pinched hit, struck out. Rivas 0 for 4, but did have the RBI ground. I thought that was a big run. Crochet had a chance to get out of a 1st and 3rd, nobody out jam in the 2nd inning. Oh, and Demo's one hit was the double off Crochet, I should have said. I think I said a bloop single. It wasn't. It was the double off Crochet, and then reached on an error to score his 2nd run. But I thought that was a big run. You can't let those opportunities go away. Doesn't always have to be a ball in the gap. It doesn't always have to be a ball over the fence. Just put the ball in play, got that 3rd run in, and at least you can sit there, because I know the Mariners ended up loading the bases in the 2nd, left them loaded. That's frustrating, but you at least got the 1 run, right? You can at least go back, okay, hey, listen, you score 1 run every inning, you're scoring 9. So that's a successful inning. You'd like more, but we've seen this team squander those opportunities and get 0. So it's just nice to see. I'd like to see Rivas get some more at-bats. Pretty good defensive player, I think. And he stung the ball for a couple outs, too. That was the other thing later in the game. The Mariners were stinging the ball, but just right into Tommy Pham's glove and Benintendi's glove and Robert's glove. So, I thought they had a chance to even get more runs. I thought Rivas had some good at-bats. I wouldn't mind seeing him, unless they can go acquire a shortstop, give him a chance. Give him a few at-bats in there. Nothing crazy. I still think if you're not going to make that roster move, Dylan Moore is probably your best bet with the bat and everything in the total package to be the better player. But I wouldn't mind Rivas getting, just a crack, once a series, getting a start. I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world overall. So that's all I've got for you guys. Nice series sweep. Again, doesn't eliminate all the frustration and problems for this team, but a nice little 72 hours for the ball club, or 96, or whatever you want to say. Getting a Rosarina, getting Jimmy Garcia, those guys are already paying dividends, and you go out and you sweep a bad baseball team. Should we be celebrating? Yeah, that's what you got to do. Got to beat who's on your schedule. You should be happy about that. Not the Mariners' fault. The White Sox are awful. So I don't mean that maliciously to any White Sox fans. I actually like some of the pitching talent there. We'll see what they do at the deadline and stuff like that. Wonder, I thought with the Mariners in town, we might see a trade of some kind there with the White Sox, but it's who's on your schedule, and hopefully it just gets you a little momentum. We'll see if there's another deal in place coming up soon, and we'll see if they can go into Boston for what's got a little bit of a playoff feel to it. Both teams chasing a playoff spot. We'll see if the Mariners can do some damage. Maybe I think Houston faces Paul Skeens tomorrow. Maybe Pittsburgh can get that W. Mariners can go into Boston, keep the good vibes rolling, and get back in first place here. And then let's go. Let's see what they do at the deadline. And, I will say I felt this series rejuvenated me a little bit. I could be humbled very quickly and just go, well, that was Chicago, is what it is. But the Rosarina trade, the Jimmy Garcia trade, see if they got more, and winning this series, I've got a little bit of that rejuvenation back. Just, it's the Godfather, right? So I thought it was out. They pulled me back in. Have a great night, everybody. And as always, go Mariners. Oh, I think I forgot to say like, comment, subscribe. Oh, also, if you thank you to all the new channel members for joining. Starting tomorrow, after the post game, I will be starting a series. It is a members exclusive series. So if you want to watch it, become a channel member. I will be doing my top 10 baseball movies, but it'll be in a series. So it'll be one movie at a time, starting with number 10, leading up to number 1. So it'll be kind of fun to do and just something to talk about that's not necessarily Mariners related. So if you want to become a channel member, there's also other contest giveaways we do. I'll probably do one during those videos as well. So think about becoming a channel member. Members, look out for that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow. Go Mariners. Peace.